Well, in the 1980s, a Catholic priest saw a need in the community for the church to care for those stricken with HIV/AIDS. Today, that ministry lives on in the Marigny. Sarah sits down tonight with Kim Moss, Executive Director, and Tasha Duplantis, Peer Support Specialist of Project Lazarus, to learn more about this ministry.
Well, Tasha and Kim, thank you so much for being with us to share a little bit more about the work of Project Lazarus.
Thank you for having us.
Well, Kim, I want to start by reminding our viewers, because you've been our guest before, but reminding our viewers a little bit about the history and mission of Project Lazarus.
Okay. Well, the history dates back to the early 1980s when AIDS hit this community extremely hard, and the old Holy Trinity German Catholic Church there in the Marigny, the pastor, Father Paul DeRosiers, noticed that as he walked through the quarter, there were many black wreaths hanging from the doors and from the balconies, and he asked someone what was happening. He was told that there was a disease that was striking young gay men, and they were being kicked out of their homes, ostracized from their families, and they had no place to go, and they were literally dying in the streets. He, along with Father Bob Powell, approached the Archbishop at the time and said, we have this very serious problem, and the Archbishop just wrapped his arms of love around the issue, and thus Project Lazarus became an agency that provided housing primarily back then for people who were dying of the disease. So it really was a hospice for many, many years.
And it has changed drastically, the whole I hate to say it, but the image of HIV/AIDS and also the mission of Project Lazarus has evolved with that. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's a remarkable change. It's a remarkable change in the disease itself, that becoming HIV positive used to be almost a certain death sentence. Now, living with HIV is a chronic illness. So in 2012, actually, not one single person died at Project Lazarus, and used to be hundreds each year pass away. So in the process of course, having an organization that used to focus on helping people die well, now we focus on helping people live well. So our programs have evolved, as have our mission. The mission is still the same, of providing good, stable housing, but now we really also provide the supportive services that prepare our residents to move out into the community with jobs, living independently, knowing how to balance their checkbook, understanding about budgeting, and really preparing them for independent living in the community as responsible individuals.
And Tasha, you're now an employee at Project Lazarus, but you came to Project Lazarus as a client.
Yes.
It's a very powerful story. Can you tell us a little bit about coming to Project Lazarus and what it's meant for you as you get to this journey?
I was addicted to drugs and alcohol for many years, and I did not see any light at the end of the tunnel. I've been infected with HIV since 1996, and through the years of having HIV, I became very desolate, full of hopelessness and despair, and feeling that I had nowhere to turn to. Being transgendered in the community, it was very, very hard for me to have a solid footing, and so I succumbed to drugs and alcohol and prostitution, all that goes with the street life. And I was hospitalized twice for unrelated, not related to HIV, but after the second time, my case manager referred me to Project Lazarus. And when I went there, I did not think that the people there were when I walked in, they were so loving and so, open arms and want to just cradle you. And I was so suspect of that because, where I came, side of the streets I came from, you did not trust that easily. But it wasn't long before I, knew that this was sincere. Yeah. And so knowing that they wanted to help me gave me the motivation to want better for myself, because these are strangers and they didn't know me from a can of paint, and they really wanted to help me and to see me do better for my life. And so I did. I went through all the programs, and I've watched Mr. Kim initiate a lot of the changes at Project Lazarus, and it just inspired me. I was in awe of everything that I was watching with the agency, and doing the personal work that I needed to do for myself to recover from alcohol and drugs and to live a healthy life. It wasn't I was at Project Lazarus for 18 months. I was the president of the resident council that Mr. Kim had had initiated, and the program that we teach the residents to advocate for themselves. To, if there's something that they feel like they need at the agency, they can come to us, and we would
just like a homeowners association.
Just like a homeowners association, and it was really cool to see that develop. So there was a lot of things that was going on in Project Lazarus that inspired me to want to be better. When I moved out of Project Lazarus, I was scared to death because I didn't know, what am I going to do? But I was there for 18 months.
But you were a success story. You had gotten independent.
But it was still scary
Sure.
because, for the first time in my life, I was stepping out on my own, and I didn't know how that footing was going to feel like. But from the tools that I gained from Project Lazarus and all the love that I learned, that I gotten from the staff and the residents there, gave me a self-worth that is unreplaceable.
And now you're helping residents.
And now I'm helping residents. Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing.
I've been afforded the opportunity to give back to an agency that's given so much to me.
That is amazing.
Yeah, and I feel like I owe my life to them.
Well, how can people in the community, you're getting emotional as we talk, but how can people in the community continue to support Project Lazarus? So often we're hearing Pope Francis to go out and tell us to go out and encounter people as a church and welcome people with those loving arms that Project Lazarus showed you. How can the community get more involved in the agency?
Well, the first is simply come and visit. And come for a tour. So many people think they know Project Lazarus, but they don't until they come on the campus and see the almost entire city block of gardens, and the campus is magnificent. And remembering that the residents are people who so many of them come from homeless situations and don't feel loved, and simply sitting across the table and talking with them, playing cards, playing checkers. It's so easy.
Sharing a meal.
That's right. To get for folks to get involved that way.
It means so much to the residents to see that people, we're not ostracized. We are accepted. We are worthy, and seeing that interaction with the community, with us, it really, really helps our self-esteem, because for so many years we were stigmatized, and we're trying to change that today.
And you were saying you were so suspect of it because you weren't open, and this has opened up yourself.
It's real. It's real. They do care. They love us.
And you have your annual gala coming up as well.
Yes, we're excited about that. Next month, Tuesday, April the 22nd, is our patron party, which is held at Windsor Court Hotel from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock in the incredible boardroom and library, beautiful area there. And then the next evening, Wednesday, April the 23rd, is the annual Guardian Angel Award Gala at City Park Pavilion of Two Sisters, a beautiful setting, of course. And we're very excited that our Guardian Angel Awards this year are going to Ms. Patricia Denishaw, as well as to Archbishop Emeritus Alfred Hughes. Archbishop Hughes comes every Friday still, and the residents love to see him, and he prays with them and blesses them, and the staff, we love seeing him as well. And this year we're giving our highest award, which is the Powell DeRosier Award, named after the two men who approached the Archbishop at the time. And that award is going to Halloween New Orleans, which is a group of people who have been raising money specifically for Project Lazarus since the early 80s, and have raised over $4.5 million for Project Lazarus. So we're so proud to be able to give these great people those awards.
Well, I want to thank you, Kim. As Tasha was saying, you have implemented so many changes that have been so positive for Project Lazarus in just the short time that you've been there. And Tasha, I want to you will have my prayers and support for your life and for the lives that you're touching every day. And thank you for your ministry and for accepting this to help those in the community who are struggling and need that sense of value of their own lives.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, once again, the Guardian Angel Gala is set for April 23rd at the Pavilion of Two Sisters in New Orleans. More information about the event, including the patron party and about Project Lazarus, is online at www.projectlazarus.net.